Hey BC, it's Ron. Thanks for joining me. Hey, I went into the archive. I pulled out a bunch of 45s, so I'm going to show my 1950s, early 60s rock and roll, rockabilly, R&B singles. And I've never really gone out and collected this stuff. You know, I bought some things here and there, you know, paid a fair amount of money for them. But most of the stuff you're going to see came out of thrift stores. Quarter, 50 cents a piece. Pretty amazing finds, really. I used to find like large piles of these things, and mainly in the 90s. Some of it goes back to the 80s, and so I know this is going to be right up Bobby Gass's alley. So I'm sure he's going to enjoy seeing these, and the others of you that like 45s or just interested in the foundation of rock and roll are going to enjoy seeing these. So without further ado, let's take a look at the 45s from the 1950s and 60s. Alright my friends, let's get going. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to occasionally play a 45, and I'll try and keep the music on at all times as much as possible anyway. And we're going to get going with a 1951 45 by the Dominoes. It's R&B and very sexual, double meaning lyrics. And it does mention rock and roll in this song, but it is meant in a sexual way, not in the music genre. But, you know, rock and roll and jazz were both sexual terms in the black community, and eventually got tagged onto music. So we're going to get going with 60 Minute Man by the Dominoes. Okay, I'm just going to kind of go through some of these, and this first one is Jimmy Bowen, Ever Loving Fingers. Sort of a rockabilly ballad, and Jimmy Bowen went on to become a producer for Reprise, and he produced the West Coast pop art experimental band, believe it or not. Here's another pressing of the same record, a little later pressing. Johnny Burdette, You're 16. He was in the legendary rock and roll trio. And we got Dean Beard with the Crew Cats, Rakin' and Scrapin'. Good rock and roll number on Atlantic. 50 minutes of blowing my top. Hey Porter, Johnny Cash. Now this is an early pressing. You can see the push marks in the label there. Shows you that that's a really early press. His first 45 from 1955. In pretty nice shape. I only paid like $6 for it, and now it's worth like $50. Big River, Johnny Cash. Just got this a while back. This was in that box of 45s that I bought not too long ago. This is good rockabilly by Don Cole. Whoa Whoa Baby, Eddie Carroll and the Montclairs. What You Want, Matt Curtis, white label promo. Now some of these King white label promos have the artist's biography printed on the label, and this one does not. I remember I got that at the Salvation Army for 20 cents. Okay. This next one I want to play This is a German pressing, and I actually did get this out of a thrift store. And it's Rock the Joint, Bill Haley and his Comets. Now originally this was done by Bill Haley and the Saddlemen. And it's a 1952 early rock record, and I'm going to play it, and I think there's something in this song that you will recognize.
We're gonna tear down the mailbox, rip up the floor, smash out the windows and knock down the door. We're gonna rock this joint, we're gonna rock.
Listen to that, man. That's 1952, people.
Rock this joint, we're gonna rock this joint tonight. Well, 6 times 6 is 36. I'm gonna hit for 6 more licks. We're gonna rock this joint, we're gonna rock this joint, we're gonna
Okay, got the Crickets. That'll be the day. Go, man, go. Yeah, you recognize that lead? Rock Around the Clock. The Crickets, oh boy.
Side by side, a flying low and a flying wide. We're gonna rock.
Eddie Cochran, Jeannie, Jeannie, Jeannie. Now this was originally on a 45 only. It's got a sticker from Diamond's department store in Phoenix. They would later become Dillard's. Look at that price, 98 cents. That was pretty pricey back in the day. Original company sleeve. This is what I'm going to play. This is Barry Darvell, Geronimo Stomp on Colt 45. Dig that label. Pretty cool the way they got the title and the artist's name split on the angle. Very cool. So this one I'm going to play. Splish Splash, Bobby Darin.
6 times 6 is 36. I'm gonna hit for 6.
Mac the Knife.
Rock this joint, we're gonna rock. Rock this joint, we're gonna rock.
The Living End. Scott Ingle sings. And it's with the beat by Count Dracula. In the I can't read it. It looks like Count Dracula and the Boys. Now actually Scott Ingle is Scott Walker from the Walker Brothers. Dig that cool label. Got a little spaceman there on his flying saucer. Or actually I guess it's a record. Flying record. Totally cool. Yeah, that record is somewhat mind-blowing to me. This next one is Geronimo Stomp by Barry Darvell. Dog, the Everly Brothers. Problems. Poor Jenny. Bebopalula. Now this is an early white man rock and roll record. It's called Rock Love. Eddie Fontana. And this is from 1954. This is more pop and rock, but it's early. This one is it's kind of a novelty record. It's Billy Ford and the Thunderbirds, and it's called The Monster. And the monster is rock and roll, so that's pretty cool. I think this is actually the A-side. Mule Skinner Blues, the Fenderman. We heard a little of this at my introduction of this video. Still, I got a fella, the Fireflies on ribbon. I think this is early 60s. Making Whoopee, Charlie Gracie. Now that's the same Making Whoopee that was like a big hit in the 20s or 30s or whatever when it was, and he made it into kind of a Buddy Holly rocker. Pretty cool. All right. Let's get something else on the record player here. I'll throw this one on. Shakin' and Stompin' by the Hot Toddies featuring Big John. Here's a second pressing on Essex of the record that I played a little while ago, Rock the Joint, Bill Haley and his Comets. And yeah, this is a second pressing from the 50s, but it's still pretty valuable. Not as valuable as the first pressing with the Saddlemen, but totally cool. And this is really clean. I got this out of an antique mall, and I paid up on it. I can't remember what I paid for it, maybe 20, 30 bucks, but it's like great shape. This is an early bootleg. From what I understand, it's like from the 50s. Bill Haley and his Comets. Rock Around the Clock. ABC Boogie, Bill Haley and his Comets. Dim Dim the Lights. It's a Sin. Bobby Hankins, White Lightning on Cuda. This is a Wisconsin label, and I've not been able to find much information on this, but that's the same White Lightning that Possum Eyes did. Oh man, his name escapes me, but I always called him Possum Eyes. Forgive me for forgetting his name, but oh, George Jones, I'm sorry. Yeah, I saw the writing credit, George Jones's version. I think it's more like from the late 60s though, but still very cool in that 50s style. Wham Bam Thank You Ma'am by Paul Hampton. This is Pop and Rock. Pretty suggestive lyric there, or title anyway. Shakin' and Stompin' by the Hot Toddies. Okay, let's throw something else on here. This is a pretty good one. I paid kind of a fair amount of money for this. I think it was $15. Crazy Baby, the the Rockin' R's. Now the cool thing about this is it actually has 3 guitar breaks in it. Really unusual. Mary Lou, Ronnie Hawkins with the Hawks. Now the Hawks were actually the band. Another, there's a Dale Hawkins. Dale Hawkins, My Bid. Party Doll, Buddy Knox. Classic right there. Now there is a small label release of this. It's worth a lot of money, but this is the first pressing, I believe, on Roulette. Party Doll, another issue of it. A whole lot of shaking going on. The Killer. Jerry Lee Lewis, Picture Slave. There he is, womanizing. You win again. He's on the flip. This is a later pressing, a Sweet Little 16. No, maybe not, maybe not. I think that's an original. The Green Door, Jim Lowe, very cool song. Gets airplay every once in a while. Jailhouse Rock, kind of an obscure version on Bell Record. I don't know if that's the same Bell that would go on to be popular in the 60s, you know, that it would have the Syndicate of Sound and a Crazy Elephant and all those people. But it might be. Pretty obscure early release of it though. Printed label, which is kind of weird. I imagine it's 50s. Now this is Ricky Nelson's first single on Verve. I'm Walking. Fats Domino cover. And yeah, I got this out of a thrift store and it's really clean. Like, you know, a lot of these are in nice shape. You know, just because they're out of a thrift store don't mean they're trashed. Okay, that was the Rockin' R's, Crazy Baby. Let's throw something else on. Throw on this Obscurity here. This actually came out of a thrift store, and it's Reggie Perkins, High School Caesar, from the film of the same name. And then the flip side is Date Bait Baby from the film of the same name. Kind of a juvenile delinquent 50s movies. So this first one's going to be High School Caesar, and then I'll play the flip side too. Another Ricky Nelson. This is a good tune here. Good rocker. Ginny Lou, Cliffy Nash. 1963. It's got that early sound though. Elvis Presley, Baby Let's Play House on RCA. That was originally on Sun. And Carl Perkins, Glad All Over. And Lend Me Your Comb. Teenage Boogie with Webb Pierce. This is a good hillbilly rocker. It's the only thing he did that, you know, kind of was in that rockabilly. He was just pure down home country, and he did flirt with some rockabilly, and this is the record. I think I'll play this one. Charlie Ryan and the Timberline Riders, Hot Rod Hades. Now there was a guy that redid this in the 70s. It was a huge hit. It was called Hot Rod Lincoln. And so he rewrote it, and it's basically the same song with some different lyrics. God, I cannot remember who did that. But I'm sure you know what the song I'm talking about. Endless Sleep, Jody Reynolds on Demon. That's a real cool label. Just a real good sort of rockabilly ballad that was kind of a minor hit, I think. Tight Capris. And the next, this side's going to be Date Bait Baby. Marty Robbins, Pretty Mama, one of his rock and roll sides. Preacher Man, Lee Rand and the Randells. This is a local record out of Ohio, 1962. Pretty decent. Woohoo, the Rockateens on Roulette. Red Hot, Billy Riley and the Little Green Men. This is a Sun classic rockabilly. Curly Lee on the flip. It's pretty rough, but it plays solid, you know. She keeps them hanging on the vine. When we on a date, I know she's mine, oh mine. She's my date, baby. Ain't I'm a Dog, Ronnie Self. This is really cool. She's my date, baby. Both sides of that are really good. The Midnight Hour, Jim Sweeney on Date. That's not the same Midnight Hour that everybody knows from the 60s. That's a different one. Cheat on Me Baby by the Rockin' Saints, and there's a Decca promo. Hoy Hoy, Claude Stacy and the Nightcaps on Candlelight Records. And this has got some Phoenix ties. The publishing company on this side is Renda Music. And when you see Renda, that's an Arizona publishing company. So he might have had some ties to Phoenix. And this is from 1957. Good rock and roller there. Okay. Play a little Teenage Boogie by Webb Pierce. This is kind of an obscurity. Go Back Where You Came From by the Summits, and it's on Clifton. It's out of New Jersey, and it's got a different band on the flip side. The House Rockers. 2 songs by the House Rockers, and then 1 song by the Summits. This is a good record. Bill Sherrill, Cadillac Baby. It's got a really cool label. It's kind of it's on Time, and it's got kind of a clock dial label. Very cool. And these old 50s labels are just so classic.
With the rubble and the shovel on the broad daylight, the sing and the shout, everything's alright. A teenage boogie on a Saturday night, a high school boogie makes everything.
Runaway, Del Shannon. This is an original first pressing on Big Top. Then I got some Jack Scott, Leroy. This guy was really good. Geraldine. Getting down to the end of the pile here, people. Midgie, Jack Scott. This is a first pressing of Beep-Bop-A-Lula with the large capital logo and dome. Gene Vincent. Race with the Devil, Gene Vincent. And Dirty Robber, The Wailers. In fact, I think I'll play this Wailers record. This one is Wayne Worley, and this is a error. It's got the same label on both sides. This is like good Little Richard rocker, pretty good. Actually, the label that I'm missing is Red-Headed Woman, 1961. And this is a very first pressing of Donna by Richie Valens on Delphi. And then, of course, it's got, on the flip side, it's got La Bamba, which both of those songs would be massive hits for Valens. Tragically died along with Buddy Holly, Big Bopper. And what a tragedy that was. And then got Richie Valens, Fast Freight, Delphi, and Big Baby Blues. And then Dale Wright, She's Neat on Fraternity. Okay, that's my first box of stuff, and I think I'm going to cut the video off here as I'm running out of room on my camera. So I hope you enjoyed spinning those, and I sure did. And got a couple extra boxes here, and I'll probably show those somewhere along down the road here. But for now, guys, Ron's out. Have a good one.